Why speaking is the most powerful way to improve your English. Learning English is like learning to play a musical instrument. You can study all the notes, learn all the rules, and understand the theory perfectly. But until you start playing, you will never truly make music. The same is true for English. You can memorize grammar rules and study vocabulary every day, but real fluency comes only when you start speaking. Speaking is not just one of the skills of language. Learning. It is the heart of communication. It is the moment when everything you've learned comes alive. Many learners spend years studying English but still feel afraid or shy to speak. They wait until they are ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready until you start speaking. Speaking is not the result of learning. It is the path to learning. 1. Speaking turns knowledge into skill. You can study English for hours, read hundreds of words, and still forget them if you don't use them. Speaking is what turns information into communication. When you speak, you activate your memory, your creativity, and your emotion at the same time. You make the words yours. Imagine you learn the word achievement. If you only read it, it stays as a word in your notebook. But when you use it in a sentence, my biggest achievement is improving my English speaking skills. It becomes part of your identity. Speaking transforms knowledge into ability. It's how your brain learns to use language automatically, without translation or hesitation. 2. Speaking builds confidence. One of the biggest challenges English learners face is fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But speaking is the medicine for that fear. Every time you open your mouth, you fight your anxiety. Every conversation is a small victory. Confidence doesn't come before speaking. It comes after it. The more you speak, the more you realize that mistakes don't kill you. In fact, mistakes are your best teachers. People respect courage, not perfection. The first time you introduce yourself, order food, or join a discussion in English, you might feel nervous. But the next time, it gets easier. And one day you will find yourself speaking naturally, so not perfectly, but confidently. 3. Speaking improves listening and thinking. Speaking and listening are twins. You can't grow one without the other. When you speak regularly, your listening improves because your brain starts to recognize real-life sounds, accents, and rhythms. Also, when you speak, your brain starts to think directly in English. You stop translating every sentence from your native language. This is one of the biggest turning points in learning. The moment your brain starts creating sentences automatically. That's why daily speaking practice, even short conversations, can completely change your fluency level. Speaking trains your mind to think faster and more clearly. Speaking helps you remember more. Science shows that we remember 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, but 70% of what we say and do. Speaking combines learning with action. When you speak, your brain connects words with movement, sound, and emotion. This makes learning much deeper and longer lasting. For example, reading a list of vocabulary might help you for a test. But if you use those words in a conversation, you'll remember them for life. That's why speaking practice is not a waste of time. It's the most efficient way to make your learning permanent. 5. Speaking turns English from a subject into a lifestyle. When you study English only from books or apps, it can feel like a school subject. But when you start speaking, it becomes part of your life. It stops being something you study and becomes something you live. Through speaking, you connect with people, classmates, teachers, friends, travelers, even strangers online. You start to share stories, laughter, and experiences in English, and suddenly English stops being just a language. It becomes your bridge to the world. You realize that English is not about passing an exam. It's about expressing your heart and understanding others. 6. Speaking makes you fluent faster. Fluency doesn't come from grammar books. It comes from repetition and real use. When you speak every day, you train your mouth and mind to work together. You develop rhythm, pronunciation, and confidence naturally. Think about how children learn languages. They don't study grammar first. They just speak, make mistakes, and repeat. That's exactly how your brain works too. The more you speak, the faster your brain builds connections between ideas and words. Fluency is not a miracle. It's the result of thousands of small speaking moments. If you want to reach fluency, focus less on perfect English and more on daily English. Speak with friends. Talk to yourself, record your voice, join online speaking clubs, or describe your day aloud. Every word counts. 7. Speaking connects you to the global world. English is the international language of opportunity. When you can speak it, you can travel, study, work, and dream anywhere. Speaking connects you with people from every continent, different accents, different cultures, different stories, and yet one shared language. Every time you speak in English, you expand your world. You learn to see life from new perspectives. You can watch movies without subtitles, join global discussions, or even inspire others through your words. Speaking makes you part of something bigger than yourself, a global community of learners and dreamers. 8. How to make speaking a habit. You don't need a classroom to practice speaking. You just need consistency. Here are some small but powerful ways to practice every day. Talk to yourself in English when you wake up or before bed. Describe what you're doing or what you see. Record your voice and listen to your pronunciation. Join a speaking club. Even online ones are great. Speak with AI or chat partners daily. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Just speak and fluency will follow. The goal is not to speak without mistakes. It's to speak without fear. Conclusion: speak your way to success. Speaking is not just a part of learning English. It's the soul of it. It's how you turn silence into confidence, lessons into memories, and dreams into reality. Every time you speak, you are not just practicing English. You are building your future. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect grammar, or the perfect accent. The best time to start speaking is now, because the more you speak, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. And one day, without even realizing it, you will be speaking English freely, fluently, and fearlessly.